postpartum, as you are looking at your baby registry and preparing for the postpartum period, how many nursing clothes and nursing bras have you looked at? And have you had trouble deciding which one is the right one for you? Today, we are going to talk about nursing bras and nursing clothing on the 11th day of 12 days of postpartum Christmas. It's just me, your host, Lo Nigrosh. Lisa was not able to join me for the last 2 days of recording. I was so happy to have her for the first 10 days. So it's just me today, but I'm so happy to be talking about this topic of nursing bras and nursing clothing. So let's get into it. There has been a huge rise in the types of nursing clothing that you can get, which is great because it means people are thinking about how do we feed our babies so that we feel comfortable and they feel comfortable. So how do you know which clothing to get? I recommend that when it comes to breastfeeding specific clothing that you wait. Don't purchase a bunch of breastfeeding specific clothing before you have your baby. I have a whole episode about breastfeeding clothing and my thoughts on it. So I will link that in the show notes if you want to hear more. But essentially it boils down to this. You're not going to know your body's size in the immediate postpartum period, and it will change over time. We have this expectation that we're going to bounce back, but the reality is for most of us, that doesn't happen. And the first 3 months should be a time of rest and connection and sitting with your baby and feeding your baby and sleeping whenever you can. Your body took 9 months to grow a baby, and it will take that much time or longer to readjust to postpartum life. And many of us, even if we quote unquote lose the weight, which I have an episode about that I'll link as well. If we lose the weight, our body shape still changes. So if you were a small before, you might be a medium or a large now. And just keep in mind that clothing size has nothing to do with how good of a person you are or how good of a parent you are, but rather how much cloth your body needs to feel comfortable. The second reason I don't recommend purchasing breastfeeding clothing before the baby comes is that it really gets in the way when you are first learning to feed. The cloth is meant not to show your breasts, but in the beginning, you really do need full access to your breast, to your chest, so that it is easier to help your baby latch. And then as both of you become more adept at managing this symbiotic relationship, it will be easier and nursing clothing can be added into the mix. Finally, nursing clothing is something you can find in consignment shops and thrift stores everywhere. Or you can look on Facebook Marketplace. You can buy used nursing clothing because it's clothing that people only wear for a period of time and then they don't need it anymore. So there's a wide variety of prices, but try to buy used as much as you can. And again, as Lisa has mentioned, you can set up a clothing fund on your baby registry so that people can donate and you can use it for clothing that makes you feel good in the postpartum period. Now, nursing bras, in my view, are needed from pretty early on. So during pregnancy, it is a good idea to choose a couple of nursing bras. You may choose them a size above what you have now, but I would not buy any more than 1 or 2 because you do not know what your final breast size will be once the milk has fully transitioned and you have lots of mature milk and you are feeding a baby. And in fact, it might change multiple times in the first 6 months. So choose a size that maybe fits you right now. Choose a size that is maybe a size bigger. Then you will have a period of engorgement, quite possibly, once your full milk transitions from colostrum to mature milk. And then that initial engorgement will decrease and your breasts will be a particular size for a few months probably. So get a couple of sizes that you think might work initially, but know that it could change. And you can ask friends or you can purchase these used. And for me, the best nursing bras are the ones that give you lots of options. So if you're wearing multiple layers and you would rather pull down, you'll have that option. If you would rather pull up based on the clothing that you're wearing, then you will be able to decide what is best for you in that moment. Many nursing bras can also double as pumping bras. So you can just clip the flanges you can just clip the flanges into the bra and it kind of holds it in place just enough so that you don't have to hold the flanges on. Some people like to purchase a pumping specific bra. Now these are bras that you zip on typically just while pumping, and they have holes that you push the flanges into so that you do not have to hold the flanges on while you are pumping. Some of these bras can be very expensive. So I recommend that you either borrow one from a friend, you cut holes in an old sports bra if you have one that's kind of stretched out that might accommodate the new size of your chest and breast, or that you use the nursing bra hack of clipping them in. However, if you want to get one, great. I recommend you ask around, see if anybody has an extra, and then know that this is something that you will use, but you need to be hands-on while pumping. The vast majority of people need to add compressions to their pumping experience so that they can produce the amount of milk that they need for their baby. So being hands-free while pumping does not necessarily mean you can totally do something else while pumping. Just like when you are feeding your baby, you're looking in your baby's eyes, you're engaging in what's happening, that's getting the oxytocin flowing that releases the milk. Pumping is kind of the same way. You really need to be focused on the act. But if you can't be, and the second best thing is to be zipped in and having the pump going while you do something else, then a pumping bra is a good option. Just know you don't have to spend a lot of money on this. You can find cheaper ones. You can get one from a friend, or add this to a fund as well, your feeding fund, so that you can get it if you need it, but it might not be something that you need right at the beginning. So that's it for the 11th day of Postpartum Christmas on the Milk Making Minutes. If you are pregnant and are wanting to learn more about how to prepare for childbirth in a way that will really set you up to feel as comfortable as possible in the postpartum period, and that will set you up for success with feeding your baby, then go to my website, www.coabinbirthservices.com, sign up for my course. It is childbirth education for a great postpartum period. The first 10 couples get 50% off. So go ahead and sign up while you still have a chance to get those spots, and it will start in February. I'll see you then.